Garmin have just released an update to the Garmin MARQ Golfer watch that I've got right here, which is now called the Gen 2. And for an extra £300, you're getting some significant changes to this watch. So in this video today, I'm gonna run through my top 5 changes, and I'm gonna let you know why I think you should upgrade, and also a few reasons why perhaps you shouldn't. One of my biggest gripes with the original Garmin MARQ Golfer watch that I've got right here was the actual display. In terms of the colors and the contrast, well, it's just pretty basic. Certainly when you compare it to something like an Apple Watch, which for a lot less money has just a far better looking display. So it's good to see that Garmin have changed the display in the Gen 2 version of the MARQ Golfer and updated it to an AMOLED display. So that's a type of OLED display that has got far greater contrast and brightness compared to what was in the original Gen 1. Now that alone is probably justifiable of the additional £300. It sounds like a lot of money, but if you were the type of golfer that was willing to spend £1,700 on the original, then, well, what's an extra £300 to get a much better display? I haven't got my hands on it yet, but this new Gen 2 version of the MARQ Golfer should really pop and be, well, just far nicer to look at. While sticking with the screen, the second significant change with the Gen 2 is that it is now touchscreen. With this original version, that was something that completely took me by surprise out of the box. You had to use these buttons on the side. There was no touchscreen. So it's good to see that Garmin have addressed that as well with their luxury top of the line golf watch in the Gen 2. Now these changes have come about because the original Gen 1 version of the MARQ, I believe, was based on the Garmin Fenix 6, and that's where it got most of its core technology and specifications from, whereas the new Garmin MARQ Gen 2 appears to be based on the Garmin Epix 2. So the Epix 2 range has the AMOLED display, it has touchscreen, it has other features with it as well, which are going to be packed into the MARQ 2. As always, I've included any affiliate links down in the description below, along with any discount codes in case you can pick it up at less than retail price, which currently for the Gen 2 is £2,000 here in the UK. £2 for a golf watch. The third addition to the Gen 2 compared to the Gen 1 is the addition of a jet lag mode. So the whole point of this is that you can set your current time location along with where you're going to be traveling to in the near future, and then the jet lag mode will start to suggest how you should be amending your sleep patterns and your rest patterns and things like that prior to your trip to give you the best opportunity to reduce the effects of jet lag. Now, this is a very specific feature. If you're the type of person that's happy to spend £1,700 or even £2,000 on a golf watch, then it's reasonable to assume that you're someone who might be jetting around the world, possibly for work or just pleasure. For me, you're far more likely to see me jetting down to Butlins for a long weekend. My YouTube videos aren't quite making enough money to afford weekend trips to Vegas quite yet. The fourth change with the Garmin MARQ Gen 2 is that it's going to come with a health snapshot feature. So the idea is that you can take a quick, I think it's 2-minute assessment, and it will use the heart rate monitor, the blood O2 level monitors, your stress, your activities, your body battery, all those kind of things, and it will give you a quick snapshot and summary of your current health statistics. Now, if you're really into tracking those kind of things, then great, that's in there for you. The final changes are all grouped around the health and activity tracking data. So not only have you got pretty much all of the same activity tracking suite that you got on the Gen 1, so you can pretty much track anything you want with the GPS, including things like skiing and snowboarding, paddleboarding or kayaking, or just general running, cycling, adventuring. It has a dual channel GPS mode that's super good for all you outdoor adventurers out there, something that I never really made use of with the Gen 1. But you're now getting additional health and performance tracking features too. So for example, you're getting a training readiness feature. And what that means is that it factors in your heart rate, your sleep patterns, how much you've rested, as well as what other physical activities and exertion you've done recently. And it'll suggest whether or not you should be training or you should be resting. And if you should be training, what type of training you should be doing. Should it be gentle cardio? Should it be a heavy weights day? Should it be an intense day? Should it be a complete rest day? So I can definitely see that being of benefit if you're a golfer that is really, really keen on your health and your fitness as well. On top of that, you can actually get animated workouts. So if you're in the gym, you get a little display of a man doing a push-up apparently. Now I don't know how many other animated displays you get, and in reality, if you're really into your health and fitness and your gym workouts, do you really need to see how to do the exercise on your watch? That feels a bit more like a beginner benefit. And if you're a beginner, then are you going to be dropping £2,000 on a golf watch? And then there's other new features as well, such as Garmin Coach and Pace Pro. So they're designed to help you improve your ability and your fitness over time. So with the Pace Pro, if you're out running a marathon or something like that, then that's going to help you keep track of what you're doing every mile and what you should be aiming for. If you only care about the golf functionality of the watch, then definitely check out the Garmin Approach S62, because this has the exact same golf functionality as the Garmin MARQ Golfer, and the Gen 2 doesn't appear to have added anything new in terms of golf functionality. So the Garmin Approach S62 costs around £400 in the UK, so that's less than a quarter of the new Gen 2. However, if that new and improved OLED display has tickled your fancy and you want to get in on that touchscreen action, then what you could consider instead of the Garmin MARQ Gen 2 is actually the Garmin Epix 2 instead. Now that retails in the UK for around £900, and for that price, you're getting the same sapphire crystal glass, you're getting the same OLED display, and you're still getting a titanium case. Yes, you're not getting some of the additional features that come with the MARQ Gen 2, but you're still getting a ton of activity tracking features. Again, more so than someone like me is ever going to need. You still get the heart rate monitor, you still get the blood O2 level monitor, you still get lots of the training input stuff as well, all for £900, which is still less than half of the Garmin MARQ Gen 2. I keep pointing to this watch, this is the Gen 1. Or another alternative is that you can hold on and wait to see how much Garmin decide to discount the original Gen 1. I assume that they're going to give it a pretty significant discount, given that it doesn't have that touchscreen and it has the older style display that's not nearly as bright as the AMOLED, but we wait and see, because at the moment it's still £1,700 on the Garmin website. With the Gen 2 priced at £2,000, this is still Garmin's top of the line luxury golf watch, and £2,000 just kind of makes me wince. Yes, it might be worth it for the amount of technology and the materials that are used and being packed into that watch, but is it worth it for me? Probably not. In fact, no, stronger than that. I'm 99.9% sure it's not worth it for me. I just couldn't justify spending that much money. I think I'd rather buy the Epix 2 and then take my family on holiday as well. Pretty sure my wife would be pretty happy with that one. Maybe Vegas is on the cards. If you're only interested in the golf features of the Garmin watches, then why not check out my full comparison of the Garmin Approach range, including the S12, the S42, and the S62 that I've got right here. Smash the like button if you found this video helpful, and please hit the subscribe button so you can keep yourself up to date with all my latest reviews of all the latest golf tech.